Ambassadors, my name is Ava and I'm here to introduce our public speaker, Keith Hawkins. Keith Hawkins has endured some of life's most difficult hardships as an adolescent and throughout his teenage years. Being raised most of his youth by a single mom and an abusive stepdad, surrounded by violence, most days Keith felt hopeless. It wasn't until Keith realized that the unfortunate things happening around him were not by his choice, and even more important, he could choose how to live his own life. Being in leadership as a high school student taught him that challenges in life were an opportunity to step up and make a difference. This is Keith's message, a message of hope and prosperity. Even through struggle, you can do and become whatever you want in our great nation, as long as you're willing to step up to the challenges along the way. Keith Hawkins is an international speaker that addresses over 400,000 educators, business owners, parents, and students each year. Keith has addressed the United Nations of Global Summit. He is featured in a national communication book used by universities around the nation called Between One and Many, and co-authored the books entitled Teen Power and Beyond and Go Mad. Keith Hawkins is the creator of the program Day of Understanding that focuses on bringing people together through understanding and inclusion. Keith has dedicated his life and work to help improve the human race by helping them strive for positive personal growth in their lives. Today, Keith is speaking about the importance of challenging the impossible. Please welcome one of our country's top speakers in education, Keith Hawkins.
Class of 2024, welcome to the world's greatest high school. I am so excited to be part of your assembly, and I hope this finds everybody doing better than good. I know some of you guys are looking at me going, what do you mean the world's greatest high school? Well, let me say it again. You go to the world's greatest high school with the world's greatest students, with the world's greatest staff, and the world's greatest admin. I say that because I do travel all across the country and I see many schools. Even during this time, with distant learning, during the pandemic, I know that most schools are at home having their students, but they're not connecting with them. Yes, teachers did do a video and introduce themselves and tell them what's going on in the class. Yes, students know their classes and what they're doing, but most are not doing a welcome back assembly. Most are not having mentors who are ambassadors who are going to help out their freshmen. So I'm sharing this with you now, and I'm saying this. You go to Byers High School, the world's greatest high school, and this school is not most. I also want to say what better than good is. Better than good. Every time I walk around, when I ask somebody how they're doing, the first thing they say is this, good. And then look at me and they say, how are you doing? I say, better than good. First of all, I love it because I get the funniest responses. I was at Safeway the other day and I looked at a lady, I said, how you doing? When she was doing the checking out. And as soon as she saw me, she goes, good, how are you? I said, better than good. This lady freaked out. She looked at her coworker. She goes, get over here, you guys. Look at this guy. He's doing better than good. I was looking at her like, man, what is wrong with you? I was at a school last year and I looked at a guy who was a custodian. I said, man, how you doing? He goes, good, man. How are you? I said, better than good. He's like, me too. He didn't even know what it is. I was in New Jersey last year going to my hotel late at night. And the guy who checked me in, he goes, I said to him, how you doing, man? He goes, good, man. How are you? I said, better than good. This man looked at me. He goes, you must not be from Jersey. And I looked at him. I said, no, man, I'm from Cali. What I'm saying to you is this. Better than good is when you realize that there are people who are doing worse than you. I know for some of you right now, as a freshman, you feel like this is the worst time in your life. I need you to understand that there are people who are doing way worse than you. There are firefighters who are fighting for our lives right now, and that's somebody's parent. And if that's not your parent, I guess you're doing better than good. There are people who lost their lives because of this fire. If that's not you, I guess you're doing better than good. There are people who are sick because of COVID. There are people who are dying because of COVID. There are people who have died, who've lost loved ones. If that's not you, I guess you're doing better than good. Better than good is a mentality. What we think is what we become. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult, but you're still doing better than good. I challenge everyone the next time someone say, how you doing? Just say better than good. Even when you're going through the worst time of your life, better than good. And it'll change the way you think. I want to thank Ava. Thank you for that incredible introduction. I know it was long. And the reason why it was long is because I don't want anybody listening to this, I don't want anybody to think I'm some motivational speaker coming to your school or coming to your computer trying to motivate you. First of all, I'm not going to get in front of you and go like this. Be positive. Think positive. If you fall in life, get back up. Be positive. Hey man, if I was a teacher and I was at a school and I heard somebody look at my kids and go, be positive, I would be off to the side with my hands on my hip going, be positive? Come on, man, we work with teenagers. Come on, y'all, be positive. What is that, a blood type? Be positive. Can you just sit home and look at your homework and think positive and turn that in? Can you imagine if you could turn your homework in person if you did that and a teacher looks at you like this? What is this? There's nothing on here. And you go like this, I thought positive. Come on, man. What I'm saying is this, motivation doesn't come from a speaker. Motivation doesn't come from a parent. Motivation doesn't come from a coach. Motivation doesn't come from a teacher. Motivation comes from effort, but effort has to come from you. If you give effort during this assembly, you're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to have more confidence about yourself. You're going to see there's hope when people don't see hope. You're going to walk away as a better person if you give effort. When Ava was given that introduction, I looked at my wife and I said, you see that young lady there? I had a chance to meet her last year. And when people stereotype her, a lot of people might look at her and think her life is perfect. Her life is not perfect. In fact, everything she has, she's earned it. She's worked hard. Her life is no better than yours. What I love about this young lady who's one of our ambassadors is that no matter how hard life is, she wakes up every day and she gives maximum effort while challenging her attitude. I would say this to you as a freshman. Freshmen, please do not stereotype people. Do not compare. Every time you compare yourself with somebody, somebody is either going to think they're better, they're going to feel better, or they're going to think they're less, or they're going to feel like they're less. I just want you to know this right now. There's no one who you're better than. Therefore, there's no one that you're less than. Just be the person that you want to be. Be the person that you're created to be, but never compare. During this assembly, you're going to hear a whole bunch of messages from me. You're going to hear a whole bunch of quotes. You're going to hear from all the ambassadors who I'm about to introduce. And you're going to hear from my incredible principal, Mr. Park. If you hear something, please write it down right now. Go get something to write with. Push pause. Get something to write with. Get something to write on. If you're a parent and you're over your kid's shoulder like I am sometimes, get something to write with. Get something to write on. It's good for you. It's good for the student. But also, if you don't have something to write with, get your phone out. You might hear something that you want to jot down, you want to put in your phone, because once again, we want to inspire you. There's a whole bunch of administrators out there. But what I love about your principal is that he's real. What does real stand for? Write this down. Relationships, empowerment, attitude, and leadership. His main goal is to have a connection with every single freshman. His main goal is to empower you. In order to empower others, you have to be empowered yourself. His main goal is to make sure that you come to a school, that you're part of a school, that the attitude is checked so we can have maximum learning. And last but not least, he's a phenomenal leader. Everything rises and falls with leadership. He's not just a principal. Mr. Park is a real principal. Here you go.
Hello, welcome Bayer freshmen. You are the class of 2024, and we are very glad to have you at Bayer High School. My name is Dan Park, and I'm the principal of Bayer High School. We plan to have this welcome back in August, where we're going to have you all on the campus and have a huge rally and a full day of activities with you, but obviously that got canceled due to COVID. So consequently, we're going to do the next best thing, and that's have a virtual meeting with you. Very soon, you're going to be contacted by some upperclassmen, 10th to 12th graders. They want to help you get involved in Bayer High School and connected to our high school. They want to give you some friendship. They want to provide you with mentorship. They want to give you the lowdown on how Bayer High School works. You're going to meet your fellow freshman classmates during this time as well. These guys are going to be reaching out to you, the ambassadors. Give it a try. Don't be nervous. Don't be shy. Don't not get involved, but get involved. Give it a try. It'll be a great experience. You're also going to be hearing from very shortly Mr. Keith Hawkins, an outstanding speaker. You're going to enjoy it. It's going to be a great time. Again, I want to tell you how glad we are to have you here at Bayer High School. You're going to be the best freshman class in all the city of Modesto, and we look forward to seeing you when you do return to the campus. Good to meet you. Have a great day.
Amazing. Thank you, Mr. Park. Now I want to introduce you to your ambassadors. An ambassador is a mentor. What most schools are doing, they're having you go virtual, but they're not connecting you to a mentor. These ambassadors have figured out high school. They're sophomores, juniors, and seniors. So therefore, they know more than you. I didn't say they were smarter than you. They just know more. They know how to connect with people. They know how to connect with adults and their peers. They also have figured out how to become successful, not just academically, but getting connected, being involved in things. Now, these students are not perfect. These sophomore, juniors, and seniors have not done everything right. A lot of them have made mistakes, but they have learned from their mistakes. Here's a quote, write this down. If you're not making mistakes, you're not learning. If you're not making mistakes, you're not learning. I will go even further to say this. Some of them have failed, but failure is not failure. True failure is figuring out what doesn't work. They didn't fail in a grade or life. They just figured out what works and what don't work. What I'm saying to you is this. They're going to be with you for the whole year. They're not involved with you. To be involved is to look at you and go, maybe I'll be there for you, maybe I won't. They're not involved with you. They're committed to you. Here's a commitment. I will be there for you no matter what. I will drop things for you no matter what. You're on the top of my priority list. Freshmen, class of 2024, you're like the little brother or sister that they actually like. What I'm saying to you is these sophomores, juniors, and seniors have given up their whole year, part of their whole year, to make sure that you make this transition into high school the best that you can make it. The best. And they're here for you, and they're going to help you, and they're going to walk with you. And if you need anything emotionally, academically, socially, they're going to be there to support you. I would like to introduce you to our two ambassadors, Bella and Cameron.
I'm Bella, and I'm a senior at Bayer. I believe that at Bayer, one of our greatest aspects is how we are all so connected, especially during this time. We help everyone out, whether that's from being in leadership or helping our peers out in class, even when we don't know them. Right now, all we can do is stay connected and help. We need to be kind to everyone, including to our teachers. I've seen what it's like in our new classes and noticed that we are all staying connected just like we were in person. Our pride is so strong, and it shows every day that we were there and even now virtually, and that's what makes Bayer so fun.
Hey guys, I'm here to tell you to make sure you get involved at Bayer, because if you don't, you're going to look back and wonder why you didn't get involved.
Hey, I know you heard him talk about getting involved. My wife and I, we have 3 kids of our own. We call them any, many, miny, and it won't be no mo. Last year, our middle son was a freshman. and he had that NCAA disease on his head, no clue at all. He wouldn't listen to us. He wouldn't do anything that I asked him to do. And his school had an ambassador. His school had mentors to help him. And they kept saying the same thing that Bella and Cameron is saying to you. Get involved. You're going to keep hearing that. It's going to drive you crazy. Some of you are going to get so tired of hearing it, you're going to shut us off. So let me be real with you and tell you what we're really saying. What we're really saying is this. If you have something to do every day in your life positive, it's going to give you a sense of hope. If you have hope, you keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to start to love it. You're going to start to love the people around you that are also doing it. Write this down. Everyone needs something to do, positive, something to hope for, and something to love. I want to share this with you. When my little brother down in Southern California in LA, when we were living at the time, when he had nothing to do positive, I had a really heart-to-heart with him. He was 16 years old. He was in and out of juvenile hall. And I said, Johnny, if you keep doing what you're going to do, you're going to find yourself in trouble. Come live up in Northern California with me. He wouldn't listen. He wanted to do the things that he wanted to do. After I had that meeting with him, unfortunately, 2 weeks later, he walked into this insurance building with these other guys who are much older than him, and they robbed it. When the police caught my brother, when they prosecuted him and put him in juvenile hall, there was a fight that broke out there. Unfortunately, there was blood everywhere, and him and some other inmates had to clean it up. The next day, he complained about being sick, but people didn't believe him. That night, the authorities found him curled up in a fetal position in his cell. When I saw him, it was too late. Within 48 hours, they took him to Arrowhead Hospital in San Bernardino. He was in the ICU unit, room 508, and when I got up there and saw him, he had tubes going in and out of his body. He was on these machines keeping him alive. And when I walked out of that room, the nurses looked at me. I said, what happened? They said he came in here 48 hours ago. He has 103 temperature. We ran all these tests on him. He contracted spinal meningitis. My little brother slipped into a coma for 8 months. And when he woke up, he was blind and he was paralyzed. I'm telling you this because so many people go, well, how did your brother end up in a wheelchair and blind? And how did you end up being the person you are today? And the only difference between Johnny and I is my little brother had nothing to do positive in his life. Therefore, every day he woke up, he felt like he had nothing to hope for. And every time he made a decision, he felt like no one loved him. And he had nothing to love. I say this to you because April 10th, 2020, he passed away, not of COVID, but he passed away of complications of being in that wheelchair. And the only difference is that I came to school and I got connected and I found sports and I found leadership and I found something to do positive. And when I found something to do positive, it gave me a sense of hope. And when you have a sense of hope, it wakes you up. When you're tired and sleepy, you don't want to get up. Hope wakes you up. You're like, man, I got to get to school. I got to pass these classes. I got to do what I need to do to be successful. And then you start loving what you're doing. And then there's other people doing it. Your ambassador will share this with you. When you do something for a long period of time and you fall in love with it, other people do. And that's why these other people become friends of yours. These are people who care about you. An ambassador will even say some of these people are people they love. My brother had nothing to do positive, so the streets found him. And that's why he's not here today. You're going to keep hearing people say, get involved. We're saying more than that. Give yourself a chance. And you know what? We want to help you. Everybody needs help. I've never met someone who was successful who didn't need help. And I know you're sitting at home. I know a lot of you don't have someone at home when you're at home. I know that even if they're at home, you're in your room, you're feeling a sense of isolation. You're feeling like you're by yourself. Can I just share this with you? There are two things inside each person. We all have it. All these staff members who are listening right now, the parents are listening right now, Keith Hawkins has it. The two things is called self-doubt, doubt, and courage. We all have doubt and we have courage. Doubt would never tell you the truth. Doubt is that little thing that jumps in your head and reminds you of what's wrong. Oh, there's no good people anymore. Hey man, if you don't think there's good people, if you can't find one, look in the mirror, you might find it. There's good people everywhere, but doubt doesn't want you to do that. Doubt doesn't want you looking at me. Doubt doesn't want you to listen to me. Doubt doesn't want you to be open-minded. Don't want you to open your heart. Doubt wants you to be isolated all by yourself, and that is a horrible feeling. Loneliness. You ask any of your ambassadors, you are not alone. We are here for you. The other thing in your head is called courage. Courage is when you're scared, but you do it anyway. I'm scared to ask for help. Do it anyway. I'm scared to speak my mind. Do it anyway. I'm scared to be the person that I want to be. I find myself doing what people want me to do instead of doing what I want to do. Man, it's okay to be scared, but do it anyway. Write it down. Doubt will never tell you the truth. Get rid of doubt. Write this down. Doubt turns into fear. What is fear? False evidence appearing real. I never forget one of my teachers when I was a freshman told me this. He goes, "You're living in fear." I said, "Man, you don't know me." He goes, "Oh, I know you. I seen you before." I said, "I'm a freshman." He goes, "Keith, I seen you before. Different face, same attitude." I said, "What does that mean?" He goes, "Why don't you stop worrying about your face and challenge your attitude?" Everybody is all about image. Get rid of that image and challenge your attitude. He said fear. False evidence appearing real. But the last thing he said was, "Keith, we might live in a world of fear, but fear does not have to live in you. Fear is a choice." Please don't fear these ambassadors. Please don't fear people who want to help you. Please do not fear people who are different than you. Please don't fear people who might think different. We live in a world of fear, but fear does not have to live in you. We have two incredible ambassadors. We have an incredible ambassador. Her name is Rix. She's not a hero, she's a shero. And she wants to give you a message because I know she wants to help you.
Hi everyone, I'm Rixa Felix and I'm a junior at Bayer, and I just want to say being a teenager and just being in high school in general is so much fun, but it can definitely be challenging sometimes, whether that is mentally, physically, academically, or even spiritually. It can just be such a difficult time for many. So I believe that guidance is so important during this time, leading me to talk about how important it is to have an adult that you can trust, and an adult that you feel comfortable asking all the questions you may have about high school to, whether that is a science teacher, a counselor, even a secretary that you just feel comfortable with is so important. Personally, my freshman year, going to school every day, knowing that I had a teacher who had my back, a teacher that I felt comfortable with asking any questions about, made my freshman year, and just even now makes me so comfortable, just because I know that if I ever had a challenge that I had to overcome, I can simply go to them and they'd be more than willing to help me. And you are in luck because Bayer is filled with so many supportive and kind people who are willing to help you reach your goals or simply tell you where the doing is, because finding anything at Bayer like the first 2 weeks can be so tricky sometimes. So peace and love always. You guys got this, and Bayer Pride.
Thank you, Rix. She's incredible, amazing. What we're trying to say is we don't want y'all to be normal. Stop being normal. Go back to being when you were a little kid again. Remember back in the day when nobody was normal? Remember when you were a little kid and you had goobers coming out of your nose and someone said, wipe your nose, and you looked at them like, why would I go get tissue when I have my sleeve? Remember you did this? Remember you look like a glazed donut? Remember the white thing on your sleeve called a snail trail? Yeah, you remember it. Remember the pole with the yellow ball? What was that game called? Yeah, tetherball. Remember you used to make a dance out of tetherball? Boom, hey. Remember some of y'all tried to kill the ball, but the ball used to hit you back in the face? That's why you're not laughing? Remember kickball? Remember when you little kid, we played kickball? The big ball bigger than 2 kindergartners? Remember this? Back up. Back up. Get deep. Why? She can kick. Remember this? Get closer. Nah, man, get closer. Why? He can't kick. Raise your hand if you used to talk to yourself when you were a little kid. Raise your hand if you still talk to yourself. Look at you guys. If we were at your school and I asked that question, raise your hand if you still talk to yourself. 70% of you would have looked around in the assembly and the first thing you would have done was this. I don't talk to myself. I don't talk to myself. Even at home, you're doing it. I don't talk to myself. Look at the 30% that raised their hands. Raise your hand if you still talk to yourself. Every ambassador just raised their hands. Why did they raise their hands? First of all, you didn't raise your hand because self-doubt jumped in your head. And a lot of people, 30% of the people raised their hand because courage jumped in your head. Every ambassador just said this. Raise your hand if you talk to yourself. They're going to look at me. They're going to laugh at me. People going to stare at me. And our whole response is this. Oh, well. What do you mean, oh, well? Well, I know who I am, and I know what I represent. We want that for every freshman. You cannot stop people from judging you. You can't even stop people from talking behind your back. But an ambassador will share with you, those who talk behind your back will always be behind you. You keep moving forward. You keep persevering. You can do this. And keep evolving. There's so many freshmen will look at their friends going, you changed. Well, guess what? When you become a senior or junior, they look at that and they call that evolution. To evolve, to change. Hey man, if we didn't change, I'll be speaking in a grass hut right now with no mic and no video. It's okay to change. And some of you last year didn't do so well. Some of you last year didn't have those habits. Some of you last year are looking back going, oh, I'm this bad student. Well, let me just say this to you. There's no bad students, just bad habits. If you didn't come to school all the time, that's not a bad person, that's a bad habit. If you were cheating, that's not a bad student, that's a bad habit. If you're fighting and you have attitude and you stop caring, you're not a bad person, that is just a bad habit. And if you're asking me, how do I know? It's because they used to call me bad. And I used to believe it. And that's why the first thing that popped in my head was, I don't care. We know you can change. We all can change. Some of you guys are quiet. Some of you want to speak out. Some of you trying to find your way. Some of you have made mistakes and some have failed. But you get a fresh start. This is high school. And we all change. Our last two incredible ambassadors, Chevelle and Jay, is proven as an inspiration, and they would love to share some thoughts about from freshman year to now. Let's hear from them.
What's up, class of 2024? My name is Chevelle. I hope you're having a great year, even though we're on online schooling. I know it can be hard. But yeah, some things that have changed for me since freshman year is like my values, my maturity, and the way I see things. My grades definitely changed because I know freshman year can be very like difficult sometimes because you're just getting a new feel of high school and stuff. But my grades definitely changed, and yeah.
Hello, Bayer freshmen. My name is Jake Carter, and I'm a junior at Bayer High School, here to tell you guys a bit about my school involvement between my freshman year and today. When I first came to Bayer 2 years ago, I included myself in almost nothing. I went to class and a few football games, but that was about it. Fast forward to today, I find myself to be included in several activities, including leadership, drama, the ambassador program, and more. What changed? I got involved. And I'm here to urge you guys to get involved in any school activity that interests you. Trust me, it is worth it. With that, good luck and welcome to Bayer High School.
You know what? Every ambassador was once a freshman. They've all been there. And if we were in the gym, what I would love to ask them, I ask them all the time, I say, stand up if you've done all these incredible things, whether you've been involved in the 4 A's, which we call, write it down, academics, athletics, activities, and arts. Athletics, activities, arts, academics. It doesn't matter what order it's in, but if you're doing any of those things, stand up, because that is what helps you become successful. That's what helps you stay connected. But at the same time, if I was to ask all the ambassadors, stand up for what you struggle with. There's so many ambassadors that are struggling right now somewhere in their life, and they will stand. Some struggle with isolation, depression. Some struggle with coming from a divorced family, parents, single parent home, homelessness, so many things, academics. Sometimes they feel like their family's not there for them, but their friends are more of a family for them. What I'm saying is, I don't want you to push them away because you label them as these are the good kids. No, these ambassadors are just like you. They just figured out some of the things that you're going to be going through as you transition into high school, and they want to help you. I want to show you something real quick. This canister, I take it all across North America with me. This canister has scratches on it. It has dents in it. If this canister represents a human being, I used to say the dents and scratches represent that the person was struggling. Now I realize this. The person is not struggling. This person is choosing to live. They're figuring things out. If this represents you, if it represents who I am, we all can relate to the scratches and dents. It's called experience. It's called life. On the inside of this canister, there's water. If the water represents what's good about a person, if it represents your dreams, your hope, your faith, your future, if it represents your education, memories you create and people you help, if it represents your friends and real friends and your family, all we've been trying to say to you freshmen is this. We agree with you. It's not easy. Yes, your life is not easy. Sometimes we forget about the dreams. Sometimes we lose hope. Sometimes we do feel isolated. Sometimes we don't have those incredible habits. Sometimes we just think that there's no one there for us. Sometimes we act like we're full of ourselves, like everything is going great, but deep down inside, we feel empty. So I want you to know this. If this is you, if you've struggled, if you are struggling, you don't need to look on the outside anymore for your answers. Your answers are on the inside. Challenge the way you think. There is hope. There's more left. Dreams don't leave you as you get older, but sometimes you leave your dreams. Sometimes we listen to doubt, but doubt ain't telling us the truth. Sometimes we compare ourselves with other people, but all it does is gives us a sense of false hope. We've all been there. Even when you think it's gone. What's good about you, what's good about people, is never gone. We just need something to believe in and someone to believe in us. And when you have that, nothing can stop you. Some of you guys are looking going, I got to get me one of those cups. Please do me a favor, a little participation. Put your right hand up in the air, make this circle. Only if you have on deodorant. If you don't have on deodorant, keep your hands down. But if you know you have on deodorant, go ahead and throw your right hand up. Do exactly what I say, put it under your chin. Cool. Is that your chin? Nah, last time I checked, they call this the chin. I know something, all the ambassadors know something you don't think we know, but we know it. And one thing we know is this. Even though you've been listening to us for 30-something minutes, we realize that you won't follow everything we say as much as you follow what we do. Oh yeah. That's why we've created a program. It's called Essential Life Skills. You're going to have one of your ambassadors are going to contact you personally through virtual. And when they contact you, they're going to introduce themselves to you. They're going to be sending you every week a topic with content. It's going to be a video from me. It's going to come to you from our incredible advisor, world's greatest advisor, Mrs. Mayer. And we're going to send this to you once a week from 12 to 16 weeks. This is to support you, just to let you know that we're here for you. And your ambassador, each and every week, is going to go through the same thing you're going through with the video and the content. These skills that we're going to give you are the same skills that I use to get me through those times when Ava was reading off my introduction and all those things, when I heard her speak, the things that I went through, even today, it hurts to think about it sometimes. These skills had took me from a life of hopelessness to being very hopeful. And today, once again, that's why I say better than good. We all need these skills. So please, I challenge you, keep an open mind, have an open heart. Please listen, give effort, fill out things, do the suggestions, listen to the video, and when you start to feel better, make sure you help someone else. And if you ever need help, you reach out to your ambassadors, your counselors are here for you, the whole staff, the community is here for you. It's okay not to be okay. We've been there. Last one, put your left elbow up. It's not a trick. Start rubbing your shoulder. Yeah, look at y'all. Some of you like, you're not going to get me twice, boy. Earlier we're doing this. Bring it. Now you're doing this. The last quote to write down. The biggest room in the world is room for improvement. Class of 2024, we need you. We need you as patriots. Please be a part of something bigger than yourself. You're now at Byers High School, the world's greatest high school, with the world's greatest students and the world's greatest staff. I look forward to seeing you for the next 12 weeks. Until next time, thanks for having me.